Okay, we're working. We're recording.
All right. Hey everyone, Josh Atkinson here with PM-ProLearn. Get the chance to do a phenomenal interview with our founder and CEO, Tim Dalhouse. Really excited for the chance to talk.
It's phenomenal.
So everyone else can learn a little bit more about our company, right? Really exciting new series called Meet the Team, right? Just a chance for everyone to learn more about everybody on our unique team and where they came from and why they love what they get to do. So Tim, thank you for your time today. Really great to get to talk to you. Thanks for all you do.
Yeah, man. Glad to tell the story. You're a big part of it. So I'm sure I'll say a few words about you too.
Hopefully they're good words. No, yeah, we definitely go back a long time. So kicking it off, let's give me a little bit about your background, your military history, what happened before today, right? A lot of people have no idea who you are and what you've done and all the crazy stories that are there, I'm assuming, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so in my thinking, there's a pre-DD-214 time and post-DD-214 time, right? So I'll tell the pre-DD-214 story. Now, I grew up in North Carolina. That's where a funny accent comes from, obviously, and joined the Marine Corps right out of high school. 1985, went in and did a whole bunch of different things like a lot of people. I worked on airplanes and was a recruiter and worked at Headquarters Marine Corps Manpower, and I was an instructor teaching other people to fix airplanes. So that's kind of just a synopsis of my Marine Corps career. And 23 years and 8 months later, in May of 2009, I retired, and I was an E9 Master Gunnery Sergeant, enlisted guy, the top rank in the Marines. And at the time I retired, I had an MBA degree that I had gotten on active duty. I did all my college through tuition assistance, got an associate's, bachelor's, and master's degree, and then thought that when I got out, wow, I've got an MBA degree. I'm an E9, reached the pinnacle of, enlisted side. I had worked at Headquarters Marine Corps. So I thought I was going to get snatched up by some, DOD contracting company, and they're going to pay me $100,000 right off the bat. And, life was cool. Man, that did not happen at all. And
veterans are the most sought after employees. They're supposed to swoon over you. Isn't that
well, they should, right? But that didn't happen. It wasn't my experience. I was successful in getting a job, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't making the kind of money that I needed to make in order to even get back to my military paycheck. Was X dollars, and when I retired, my retirement plus what I was making in my first job didn't even equal my take-home pay. So I had a little drop in standard of living, I guess, because I wasn't bringing home as much money, and so that was concerning. And then I wasn't doing anything that I was really excited about. And I was working at a community college. I had a job that had a fancy director title to it, so it sounded like, oh, he's got this really cool job, but it really wasn't anything I wanted to do. I knew it wasn't long-term where I needed to be. So I was looking for other things to do. But that's kind of where I'm at. You want me to continue with that?
So what happened? One, I think a lot of veterans can relate to that story. I left the military as well and took a 40% pay cut, even though my salary on paper was much higher than my base pay. It was really shocking to see how much you actually make in the military compared to the civilian world. So what happened next? So you got a job, didn't like it. What'd you do about it?
Yeah, so I wasn't prepared at all for that. I dabbled a little bit in starting my own business. I got a little entrepreneurial spirit, and I started a couple different businesses. I owned a Christian bookstore that I bought from a guy. It was failing. I thought, well, he's just doing wrong things. I can make it work. I found out I was wrong. I tried real estate, and that's just, the market wasn't where it needed to be, and so I wasn't doing too good on my own, starting businesses either. So I kept looking for jobs out there, and actually through some Marine Corps contacts, I found out that a company called CGI Federal was looking for someone who had the knowledge I had from my time working at Headquarters Marine Corps. They had a contract with the Marines, and they needed a subject matter expert, right, that could talk the Marine language. And so I went and interviewed for the job up in Dumfries, Virginia, around Quantico, and they hired me. So I got hired by CGI Federal as an SME over some Marine Corps manpower processes for a contract they had.
Awesome.
And not long after I got there, my boss told me, he said, "Hey, Tim, I need you to go get the PMP certification." And this was in
What's that?
2011, late 2011. And I said, what in the world is P&P? I'd never heard that. And I've been out of the Marines for 2 years, struggling to try to figure out, what next looks like. And I hear about this P&P thing. So long story short, looked into it. I got mentored by a retired Marine Chief Warrant Officer who worked there and had gotten his P&P. And he said, here's what you do. And so I followed his guidance, took a little class that my company had set up. It was really, looking back on it, was absolutely terrible training compared to, what we do today.
We do now.
Yeah, it was just internal companies. Somebody said, yeah, I think I can teach that. And they, went through a book, and I did a lot of self-study and ended up taking the P&P exam, and I passed, and I was like, all right, cool. I went back to my boss, told him I passed, and he said, okay, now we're going to put you in our project manager career track at CGI Federal. So just by getting that P&P certification, all of a sudden, bam, I am a project manager, and,
Yep.
and I got put in charge of a software development project at CGI Federal, where I had software developers working for me, information security guys, database administrators, system administrators, and I barely knew how to spell those things. And here I was, a PM over those people, kind of managing the project. And I found that while I had to learn the details of what these people do on a daily basis and what those job skills are and what we're trying to do for the customer, ultimately the skills I had in the military that were about, leading a team and allocating resources and problem solving and basically stakeholder management, getting everybody together focused on a common goal. That was, what I did in the Marines as a senior enlisted guy. So it came second nature. And this P&P thing just basically told my company and told my government customer that I could do it, even though I could do it anyway. Put a framework around it. Now I'm talking the language. I'm using the term stakeholder. I'm talking about requirements and speaking the right language. And next thing you know, I'm managing projects. So that's how.
It's interesting you mentioned that, like the instant, what I call credibility and relatability, right? I think for veterans coming out of the service, like we have so much capability, but we're not credible. We're not relatable because we're not using the right doctrine, the right terms, and the right language, right? And I think that's a huge impact of certs. Again, someone hit me up offline later. I'll talk to you more about that. But I saw the same thing as you did. So what happened next, right? I mean,
well, yeah, that's true. I just learned to talk the language and walk the walk. And next thing you know, I was a project manager, and I was really a project manager all along. I just didn't know it. Yep. And I didn't understand the value that I brought to companies, but this P&P automatically, branded me that way. So it was really cool. Well, CGI Federal is a government contractor. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down, depending on what's happening in the contracting world. And long story short, I needed to go look for another job because the company was starting to, lose contracts.
Restructure.
Yeah. And so I put out my feelers, I applied for a bunch of jobs, and I got an interview with the Food and Drug Administration, and I'm a retired Marine. What does the FDA want me? And but they pulled me in, and it was actually an interview with the the Center for Veterinary Medicine, Office of New Animal Drug Evaluation, right? So here's a retired Marine airplane fixer guy who's getting interviewed for a job working in pharmaceutical project management in animal medicine, right? Veterinaries.
You have a lot of past performance in that, I can tell.
Yeah, nothing at all. So I literally thought that when I went to get the job, I was a service disabled vet, right? And I thought it's on my government application. I thought I'm the one token disabled vet that they needed to put a check in the box that they interviewed somebody, right? So I had no clue I was going to get the job. I went and did the interview. 2 weeks later, they called me and says, "You're our guy. You get the job." And I was like blown away. And I actually asked them, I says, "Why did you hire me? Because I don't know anything about animal medicine. I know nothing about pharmaceuticals, fish out of water here." And they said, "Yeah, but project management. And that's what we got from you in your interview. And we've got all sorts of scientists up here that know how to do the pharmaceutical animal medicine stuff, but they cannot manage their way out of a paper bag. And we need your skill set to come help them be more efficient and get, the deliverables done." And so I went and did that job for 3 years. I was got hired in what year was that? 2012 with the FDA, and I worked for 3 years through 2015 there, working that, and I learned a lot about animal medicine and pharmaceuticals, but really I just had to do project management there. And I learned that the skills that I had, from the military and have been used in software development world as a project manager were the same skills I used at the FDA. And so that was really, really cool. And it was a great job. For me, it wasn't the best fit. And when you go through your transition from the military, you kind of go through that. You're trying to figure out who am I, right? Because I knew who I was as a master gunnery sergeant in the Marines, had built that identity over 24 years, but now I'm trying to create sort of this new identity for myself. And I was not comfortable there. It wasn't me. It wasn't who I wanted to be. So I actually left the FDA, that great government job. I was a GS-12, but I left it in 2015 looking for what's next. I went through trying to start up some other things. By the way, I had started teaching project management on the side in 2012. And I taught for a couple of different training providers for a community college, a couple of companies that were out there doing training. I was a contractor for them, on nights and weekends, and I'd take a week off from work to do it. So I had started developing that skill set to teach project management. And I realized that, hey, maybe this is another business I could start. And so I actually went through, after I left the FDA, I got a couple other jobs in software at Accenture Federal Services and Regent Education, doing software development project management. Still wasn't where I wanted to be. And I kept trying to build out this project management training business on nights and weekends.
Yeah, I remember those times. That was kind of instrumental in my own transition. I remember talking to you. Someone told me about PMP by 2015. I thought I wasn't going to get selected for major. And I was talking to Bradley Morris, and they said, go look into PMP. And I said, what the heck is that? And of course, Onward to Opportunity, right? Really good concept program out there. Had a training program and it was free. And you're like, hey, I'm teaching it, but it costs money. I was like, no, I'm going to go the free route because free sounds great. And then I went through it and I was like, free sounds really good, but it's also really cheap in terms of training. And then I remember calling you back and saying, hey, I convinced the G4, I think this would be great for the unit. Why don't you come down and teach me to get certified? And we use unit funds to pay for it, right? And that was hugely instrumental in my own transition at that time. And you were a huge success for me to get my PMP. So deeply indebted. I know we've been friends a long time, even before that, but I was a recipient of the benefits of you starting to do that training, Tim. And it really was super impactful for my own life.
Well, thank you. That was really cool coming down to Camp. I came down to Camp Lejeune and taught your PMP class in 2015, right? Yeah.
I remember.
And, you and I had actually known each other, just for people watching this this video. We had known each other from church when we were Marines at Cherry Point together. And you played drums, and I was a vocal singer in the church praise team. So that's how far back we go. But anyway, before I even retired from the Marines, I think
it was before you retired. It was right towards the end of your retirement. We got to meet each other. But it's cool. I mean, I know we're going to continue the story, but to see how God has woven our stories together, I think, with you. And then as we keep interviewing other members of the team, I think everyone's going to see this kind of neat net, right, of connectedness that's continued to grow, right, from what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. So we drifted away from each other, as people do in the Marine Corps. You go this way and I go that way, but we reconnected in 2015 over this PMP training. And then I kept trying to build out my own training company. On nights and weekends, I was building out slide training content, coming up with a learning management system and all this. And in January of 2017, my wife, Alicia, and I turned on our website. PM-ProLearn.com was born on January 1st, 2017. And we just started seeing what we could do. We started networking with people that, we had contacts with. I got a couple of classes here and there. National Reconnaissance Office was one of the very first clients that we went to teach at NRO in Chantilly, Virginia. And my wife went out there and handed out textbooks in the classroom. And, it was me and her. And in summer, I think June or so of 2017, I thought, well, if I'm going to grow this thing, I'm not really a sales guy, so I need some help. And so I'm going to try to find some people to help. And I reached out to 4 or 5 different guys I knew who, had military experience, and said, hey, if you help get classes, I'll give you a sales commission, right? And try to do that model. And a couple of them, just didn't really ever move forward. And this one guy just knocked it out of the park. He started finding clients left and right. And his name was Josh Atkinson.
What? I remember that call. You're like, hey, I want to create this company called PM-ProLearn. Do you want to help me out? I remember I was like, I don't know jack about sales. And in fact, the one job I said I will never do when I left the military is sales. I went through a headhunter, like, what job do you want? It was like marketing, project management, operations, sales. And I was like, I want projects and operations. I do not want marketing, and I never want sales. I was like, nope, like never going to do it. And I say, God laughed at me that day going, if you only knew.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Because, it's not really sales, I don't think, but it's relationship building and helping people. And that's what you're super good at. You build relationships and figure out what does this person need that I can help them with, and that's it. So we focused in the beginning on helping people, and it wasn't about making money. It's how can we help these people figure it out, because we were targeting the military, right? I'm a retired Marine. I had gotten into project management. We basically went and said, hey, there's some other military people that could learn from Tim's experience of transition into project management and learn how to get this PM-P certification. So we were just helping people go the same route I did in a more deliberate manner, rather than I kind of stumbled into it, God pointed me in that direction. But now we're like, hey, how can we help people set themselves up for success rather than kind of just stumbling into this? And so it's helping people, and you're great at that. And so,
yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned that, because you talked about your own identity and finding out your own purpose and finding the right fit. Right. And so my own little story on my own, then we'll talk about, the company, what makes PM-ProLearn so unique. But I was doing construction project management because I had a PMP and Lean Six. Like, I was doing very well in that industry, but it didn't meet something for me, right? I love going to the field. I love the work, but I went through a program called Discover Your Why by Simon Sinek. And it's like, my why is about helping people, right? And what I truly love about what I get to do now is help people, right? And I said, I don't want sales, but I wanted to help people, but I couldn't do that in a deep enough way as a project manager in construction. Right. So for me, that shifted my own identity, and it's gotten me to start building a lot more other coaching classes and things for veterans, understanding who is it you are outside of the uniform and what do you want to be doing. And now I truly love what I get to do because of, what's been built, because my job isn't sales. My job is helping people, helping them solve a problem, helping them get somewhere, fighting bureaucracy, right? Helping defend those who aren't there. Which, again, when you look at the attributes, I love that part of work. And for those thinking about sales, sales is the J5 part of the business, right? The strategy and growth side. You are still a project manager, which, again, I didn't understand that I could be a project manager in sales, right? Or like on the growth side of the company. So I appreciate you sharing your part of that story. And just for those out there, that was a huge part of my story too, of figuring out who you are, what you want to be doing.
Absolutely. So, I tell people a little quick story that, PM-ProLearn came into being because I was just mentoring friends in the military, because a lot of people said, Tim, how did you get that job at the FDA, working in the Food and Drug Administration and animal medicine? I mean, we know you're just a knuckle dragging, airplane mechanic, avionics chief who, was in the Marine Corps. What do you know about that? And I started telling the story, man, you got to get this PM-P certification because it's a game changer. And now you get people like the FDA looking at you like you can actually come bring them value. And so I was mentoring other military people on LinkedIn and people that knew me. And that mentoring people into how did I get into project management turned into PM-ProLearn. It happened over the course of quite a few years, from like 2012 to, I got my PM-P in December of 2017. And from, 2012 on, I was helping people with that. And it eventually turned into a business. And that's where PM-ProLearn came from, was helping people. We were doing it before we said, wait a minute, maybe we can make a living doing this and help people every day, enjoy what we're doing and still pay our bills. So
go figure. So what makes it so, I mean, you're a serial entrepreneur. I know you, a little inside, I have all the inside scoop, but from a serial entrepreneur to seeing PM-ProLearn, I know you got some lessons learned, but what made PM-ProLearn different? What made it getting off the ground different? What makes it as a company different, right, from other things you've been doing?
Yeah, well, a successful businesses are a very simple formula, but it's kind of hard to find it. It's basically identifying a need, figuring out how to properly satisfy that need, and getting somebody to pay for it. I mean, that's what makes businesses successful, right? I got a need, you can satisfy it, I'm willing to pay for it. So we found that in PM-ProLearn, right? Because we found that, these military people needed something to help them transition. And we knew the PM-P was going to help them with that as it did me. We figured out how to help them. We built a great training program, and we really focused on just helping people. And then, there were funding streams that started coming into play that were willing to pay for it. And the significant thing about that is that the PMP certification became so popular and powerful that, different organizations in the military and the government started realizing, oh, we should pay to get our people these certifications because it's so valuable for them. And so that all came together kind of very well to, kick off a good formula to make the business work. And we started the business in January 2017, but I didn't quit my project manager day job until Thanksgiving of 2017, when Josh had a couple of clients lined up for me to teach in, I think, December and January. And I had to decide, I'm either going to quit my project manager day job at Region Education and go teach these classes, or we have to turn down the business, because I couldn't do both. And so I asked Josh, hey, Josh, do you think we can make enough money to pay my bills if I quit my project manager job? And we talked about a dollar figure, and you agreed.
That was very stressful, by the way. I had to interrupt. Like, I hated that part. Like, oh crap, man, if I fail, you don't eat,
I know. So thank you for taking that chance. But I had faith in you. You had faith in me, and I talked to Alicia, my wife, about it, and we're like, okay, Josh thinks we can make X dollars, and let's jump out there. And over the course of 2018, we made 9 times, almost 10 times the amount that we thought we could make. And when I quit my project manager job, so we knew we had something that worked. And again, it was just basically helping people and finding, meeting that need and getting the funding streams that would cover it. And but that's what we focused on long term in PM-ProLearn, is helping people. We have a mission statement that says that we are here to do good in the world, to glorify God by doing good in the world by helping people. And so that's our mission statement. So it's not really anything about project management. Mm-hmm. It's about number one, giving the right emphasis and respect to God, who gave us the blessings to be able to help people, and we want to glorify Him in that. And it's about doing good in the world, and you do good in the world by helping people. And so that's what we built PM-ProLearn on. We've actually got a written culture document that states that, and we built some values around that. I won't go into the weeds on all of our our 8 values, but we're very deliberate in those values. We talk about them all the time. We base our decisions on them, and having a company that's based in principle and values. Where nowhere in our values does it say, hey, we want to make money, right? Mm-hmm. We that's not what we're focused on. But we realize if we focus on the right things of helping people, that the business works. And ultimately, you get the benefit of that. We were able to hire people. We've now got, I think, 21 full-time employees. 17 full-time, 4 full part-time, and then we've got, I think, 9 or 10 contract instructors. So that grew from me and my wife, teaching courses where she handed out books and I taught the class, to I don't even know what courses we have going on sometimes. So like we got instructors flying all over the place and doing all sorts of, classes everywhere. And, I'm just kind of riding the wave at this point. So it's fantastic what we've been able to build, but it's really about focusing on helping people. I mean, that's it. Focusing on helping people and doing good, and not worrying about, the temporal things really. And that's been a good secret success sauce for us, I think.
It's interesting you say that. I was flying back from Vegas. I got to go to staffing convention and talk about hiring veterans. And I'm sitting next to a director of sales for a company. And we talked about values, and, we were looking at growing the team on my side at that point. And she's like, it's all about money. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that, right? For me, it's all about service, right? I want people who are unmotivated by money, right, who care more about service, and then seeing the blessings that come as a result. And I think it's just been neat to look at the team, right? We talked before about, God weaving the right people in. Mm-hmm. And I've talked to other trainers. I've helped mentor other trainers that do other certifications, and it's always kind of a one deep hole, and as I look back to our start and the differences, it was never a solo effort. It's always been a team, right? Mm-hmm. And I can't think of starting a business where you're offering the product, doing operations, and doing sales, and doing everything else, right? I think it was really, impactful and insightful of you to look at contracting the sales side, or subcontracting, I guess, the sales side while you provided the service, because it's always felt like a team collaboration where I had my part, you had your part, and I wasn't trying to quit my job after selling it to go do the training. I could just focus on the relationships, right? And I know I've committed us to some things saying, crap, they bought it, now we got to do it. I sold something, but the team that you've helped build and the team that's been picked out, I think as we continue to grow is really neat.
Yeah. So we focused really, really heavily on hiring the right people, right? We built out a team of, like I said, 21 employees and non-contractors, and not a single one of those people came on board without going through a real review process where we look and we're saying, okay, they got the skills. We know they can come in and do this, but are they the right fit for our team and culture? Are they going to have the focus that we have of helping people and a heart of service? And, are they going to carry the PM-ProLearn flag into battle, just like, Josh and Ian and Alicia would, back when we started? One of the first team members we brought on was Rebecca Kuhn, who is the wife of my cousin. My cousin's a retired Air Force lieutenant colonel. We brought Rebecca on and brought her on because she was someone who I trusted and someone that we knew had the values. And, we can bring her on. And the initial conversation with her was, hey, come in and work 15 hours a week, maybe. And now Rebecca is our client services team manager. I'm sure she works more than 40 hours a week, even though we tell her not to, because that's her heart.
She cares about people. I mean, she's like one of the sweetest. You cannot get mad at Rebecca. Like, I mean, she's so servant-hearted. It's awesome.
And then, we found Ian Fisher, who's now our chief operating officer. He was another student that took our class and class that I taught. So I taught both you and Ian and to get your PMP. And he was just, super quality person, and followed by Stacy King, super quality person. And everybody that we put in is super quality people. One of the things that we do is, even though I'm not the guy that finds these team members and vets them, I'm the last person they talk to before they come in the business. And so far we've been able to maintain the culture because, as the founder, I'm still touching every person that comes on the team and saying, hey, my whole team's talked to you, and now I just want to have a warm fuzzy that you're the right fit for our culture. And, the one skill set, even more than teaching project management, that I brought to building this company, and it may be more just I'm a funnel of God's blessings, that he's given me the ability to put the right team together. And so we just have built a great team of people. And that one lieutenant colonel in the Army out in Hawaii, when I taught a class out there one time, and she said, hey, PM-ProLearn's got the trifecta of success: great people, great processes, and great product. And so we kind of, took that on, and we talk about that all the time. Oh, this is really kind of what makes us successful. And it starts with great people.
Great people.
And so, you were great people starting out, and we just kept on finding the right great people. And it's a testament that you're still here since 2017, right? And now we're at the end of 2023. So it's really good.
It's amazing. Again, I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. My dad was. He's a psychologist, started his own counseling business, and never envisioned that being a part of my life, Tim. And it's been an amazing ride with you. Truly love the mission that we have, right? As a focus of really helping people, right, enhance their current capability and create greater job credibility in the future. So, awesome to interview you. I thank you for your time today. For those watching this, if you're looking into project management, want to learn more about project management, what it takes to get certified, what we do that makes us so special, and how we truly partner with our students to serve them right in the long haul, check us out, right? Go to the website, www.pm-prolearn.com. Find me on LinkedIn, Joshua Atkinson, Tim Dalhouse, any one of our team. Connect with us, please. So, Tim, thank you for your time. Any parting shots for anybody out there who's listening in?
Well, no, we appreciate it. We basically help train the military, not exclusively, but that's a large market that we have. And we do that because we love what you do for the country. We understand it. We're not there anymore, but we're super glad that there's still people that do it. And we appreciate who you are, and anything we can do to help you transition from the military and find success in the civilian community. That's awesome what we want to do. And we want to help even private industry organizations figure out how to leverage, what we know about project management and how the military is successful at mission accomplishment. And we love to come help your private industry organization as well. And we've done that on quite a few occasions. So, yeah.
To get clarity, we are not a veteran only training organization. T-Mobile, Facebook, right? Anyone out there, we want to help you too. So connect, right? Learn more. Project management is everywhere. And I've said in sales, the best salesman is a great project manager, because if the customer experience is bad after I sell it, no one ever tells their friends.
That's
right. So if you're looking at upskilling, focus on your PMs, right? Salesmen can be weak. If the PM is weak, the sale is miserable. If a PM is good, they can make a bad salesman look great. So check us out. Thanks, Tim, for your time. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Josh.